I'm out here again with my little single hander. It's got a fighting butt that I made. I got a super short Skagit head like a OOPST or a Rio Skagit Trout Max. Floating tip, mono leader, and a little woolly booger I'm going to be stripping. Today I'm going to be talking about casting into the wind, the lower grip on a little two-hand conversion like this. I'm going to be talking about stretching, examining, and changing running line. And I'm also going to be talking about why I like the two-handed rod on such a teeny rod. The wind's really started to kick up here, so I'm trying a couple different tactics. One is to cast lower to the water, side-armed, trying to keep my loop out of the wind. Unfortunately, I kind of cast it upwards and it doesn't stay too low near the surface. That's a problem. The other problem I have is I have a 10-foot light floating tip on it, and it isn't turning over in the wind very good. So I'm going to stop and put a shorter tip on it. Casting in the wind is a pig. So I got a 10-foot floating tip on here, OPST micro Skagit. Swapping it for a homemade little short fat tip that'll turn over in the wind. I'm going to do some casting with my rod tip very low, do some sidearm casting to try to get under the wind. We'll see how it goes. And also, always stretch your running line, which I never do, so I'm going to take some time to do that right now. Lesson. I was stretching my running line, and I had forgotten there was a little scuff in it. So I'm stretching it really tight, and boom, it broke. So always examine your running line, because if that would have broke when it was in a river, I would have lost my shooting head. All right, I stretched my running line. I've got a 4.5 foot short compact floating tip on there. So I have a real short shooting head system, long tapered leader, fairly long, and I'm gonna try some casting in the wind with my short shooting head system. See what happens when you use cheap running line? Sometimes you stretch it, you do everything, and you just gotta replace it. That's why I use this cheap stuff. I can basically pull it down here to where it pull my old running line, old crinkled up stuff up through the guides to my new running line, or my fresh running line. Anyway, I got some nice fresh running line here. Baravasair's is by far my favorite mono running line, but in this case I'm using Berkeley Big Game 25-pound test for a little trout or bass outfit. I stack it on thick and then chop off the old when it gets worn out and still have fresh running line. I'm going to loop on a double surgeon's knot. Wet it. Tie it full on all the ends. Yeah. chew off my old running line with my beaver-like teeth. Get some nippers so your teeth won't look like mine. Fresh running line. Now I'm casting a very short Skagit shooting head and 5-foot sink tip. It's about 15 feet total. You'll notice my sweep is low, my circle up is low, and my delivery is almost side-armed to keep the anchor from blowing, because I'm also standing on a rock, which makes the rod seem way longer. Now I'm standing on a rock, casting in the wind. I'm going to cast side-armed to keep the anchor from blowing and to stay underneath the wind. I absolutely love having the availability of this short bottom grip on this rod when casting heavier grain lines. The only single handers I wouldn't have a bottom grip on are the little teeny guys that throw the lighter grain weights. But with single handers that throw a little bit heavier grain weight, I seem to get more power by pulling with the bottom hand on the lower grip. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Line Speed Jedi. Over and out!